welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with...
Elizabeth Helly.
And...
Tyler, the Guardian.
Ooh, the Guardian.
The Guardian.
Ghoul. No. The Guardian is not an owl. I wish.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish, yeah. Well, we are back at it with the Highlander universe here. We just watched Highlander Endgame with our awesome guest, Daniel Friedman, last week. If you missed that episode, go check it out. And this week, we're talking about 2007's Highlander, The Source, the final live-action film.
For now.
In the series, for now.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I want to just say, every week we're asking for people to throw out suggestions our way. And we had one of our followers reach out to us on Twitter. Aaliyah was asking, she said, love all your Dragonheart episodes. Are you guys thinking of looking at the Land Before Time series soon? And, I know we answered back there, but I just wanted to see what you guys thought of this.
We've been circling the Land Before Time since before we started this podcast.
Yeah, Justin has the full 14-disc collection over
does.
here on the right. And, we definitely want to do it. It's just such a big commitment. I think we're, hoping to get a little bit more of a following before we do. Yeah. So if you want us to do Land Before Time, tell your friends to subscribe.
Call your friends at Casper Mattress and have it.
That's right.
Once we do our first mattress ad, we'll do Land Before Time.
And
we're coming up on our third anniversary.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that regardless of what happens, maybe you'll see it in year 3 out of 4. I don't know.
I feel like that's the ride into the sunset. I feel like that's fuck it, we're doing it.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Podcasts have ceased to be a medium.
Yeah.
Well,
who knows in 14 weeks' time?
Yeah, it's kind of like the white whale.
Sure.
I don't know if there's anything more iconically franchised.
I mean, I don't know. If you want to count remakes and stuff of a old book or something, you might get higher. Or if you want to count James Bond, but that's
I don't.
Not it's totally subjective. Yeah. So, anyways, just want to say thanks for reaching out to us.
We're gonna do it. We will do it
eventually.
Yeah.
Someday. Anyway, if you have other suggestions, you can reach out to us, like this person did on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sequel Rights, or shoot us an email with your long-form thoughts to sequelrights@gmail.com.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Please go back and listen to all of our Highlander episodes. If you're just tuning into this one, I don't know why you would do that, but
I mean,
we've had a lot of really great guests this time through, and I am excited that we're nearing the end.
The people
we are.
The people want to know what the source is. Tyler, that's why they're listening.
Highlander,
clearly.
the bibliography.
Yeah, cite your sources.
Cite your sources.
Is it Chicago or MLA style?
Yeah,
formatting.
Oh my god!
Because I know both.
I'm done with school.
Breaking news. Justin Camp's done with school.
Done with school. No more citing sources or showing my work ever.
Oh.
Speaking of the source, why don't we get into it? This insanity.
Over the past week, the planets of our solar system have moved outside their orbital paths and are coming into alignment. When that alignment is complete, the Earth is going to be bombarded with cosmic radiation.
The moment of the source? Tell us what you found.
He has risen.
The Guardian. It's coming. There can be only one.
Oh man, this
movie starts with a black frame, and then what comes upon it is some script in papyrus.
Little Timmy's.
You get some you get some papyrus, and that lets you know this is before Avatar. This is one of the 12 fonts that only church flyers and movies like this,
Yoga studios,
and Thai restaurants are using this font, and it is a calling card of poor choices. And this movie just drops it right down on the table, right.
You got a very hard formatted PowerPoint slide with a bulleted list set forth in someone's default Microsoft margins.
Yes.
Someone's kid came into school history class and he's like, "Today I am going to be doing my project on immortals. Immortals are one. They can only be killed with the loss of their head."
Hi, I'm Clippy. It seems like you're trying to put together a proposal.
Are you doing a PowerPoint?
Are you doing a PowerPoint?
I'll stop doing the voice.
No, let's do more Microsoft Office jokes.
No, you should be doing it like that Vanessa Bayer Jewish boy that's doing his
And then, oh man, so it's so funny. I was going to read these out. The entire
Here we are.
series up to this point is boiled down into these 3 highly important bullet points.
These are the 3 most important things they want you to know about.
This is the
lore of the Immortals.
Yeah, this is the outline of the term paper on Immortals. 1, they can only be killed with the loss of their head. Okay, yeah.
They can misplace it.
Is that
it could be cut off from them?
Okay, I don't know that that's number 1, but it's definitely on the list.
Sure.
Yeah.
Number 1 is that they're immortal.
Yeah,
I would say, but
no, I mean they're already called immortals. I guess they could just be called that.
That's true. You don't want to be redundant.
It's inherent in the name, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
There's a lot of fighting forces called the Immortals that a lot of them die.
Are we good with number 1? We're good with number 1?
Yeah. Let's
Okay, 2. They gain more power by killing other immortals. Did you know that?
It's vague.
Yeah, but that's also maybe not one of. I wouldn't put that in the top 3.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, okay, you good with number 2?
Yeah.
Sure.
Number 3. The most important. This has been the most. They only had time for 3 facts.
Nothing about. Is it holy ground?
No.
Is it that they stay the same age only if they are killed untimely?
No.
Is it that there can be only one?
No.
Is it something about the quickening?
No.
Is it something about their preferences for food? Are they dairy intolerant?
The Watchers, they won't interfere.
Yeah. Is it the Watchers can't interfere?
This is like Family Feud. Like, what are the top 3 facts that people say about Immortals?
Everything we just said would be a better answer than what he's about to say.
Sorry, you guys got 3 strikes. The real answer is, survey says, they cannot have children.
Ding, 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 ding.
I mean, honestly, that was probably 6 or 7 on the list if you were going to come up with the most important things to say.
It's been so unimportant that I was like, huh?
It was kind of important in the last hand in the last movie where he killed his wife
before she could have children. I felt like it was only important in the very first movie when they were getting around the idea of being immortals and in vitro fertilization is not as popular or whatever. At this point in 2007, it just seems mean and dumb. And I'm going to continue to talk about this throughout the episode. So get ready for it.
It still was weird because even though it was a rule in the first movie, it's not like there was a character who was like, I really want to have children.
Yeah.
No, never.
Yeah, it was mentioned I can't have kids, so that's just
seemed like
something you got to know about me.
For Duncan, it seemed the thing that he wanted most in most of the episodes that I've seen was to fight that guy in the circle with the knife and sword.
Yes.
It seemed like he wanted that a lot. Kids, not so much.
He wanted to have lots of women.
Lots of women.
Different fights.
All of the fun and most of the good women.
Right.
Yeah. And in this one...
that is a quote, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Had to bring the Lambert back because we don't get him in this movie. No cameo, no mention, no nothing.
So I read a behind the scenes thing where Adrian Paul was disappointed with Endgame, and so they came to him and they said, "Would you like to do this movie?" And he said, "No, I I don't. I think I didn't think Endgame was that good. And I don't think that it's worth bringing it back out. So then they went to Christopher Lambert, and he was like, "Sure, I'll do it." But then he asked for too much money, and then so
Like $8.
So they went back to Adrian Paul, and they said, "Well, we'll give you creative credit. We'll make you a producer. You know,
Sure.
we'll do all these things."
We'll let you shoot the scenes and also write the script. No,
And
yeah.
so I don't know exactly how he was convinced to come on, but he is on the record of being disappointed with Endgame. And
Is he on the? He's not on the record for being disappointed in this.
Oh, he's extremely disappointed in this.
Oh, Jesus! I hope so.
Yeah.
Look, love him, but if you look through his IMDb list,
Yes.
I don't know how much room he really has to talk. He's like the king of like fake remakes that look like they're
Yeah.
not real. Like I think there's one that's like The Speedy and the Angry or something like that. Like seriously, like he's in all these movies that are like
The
not
Swift and the
quite-
Terse.
Yeah. Like he's in all these movies that are like one step. They almost look like those
the Lowlander.
like those
Transmorphers.
fake,
yeah.
like
Snakes on a train.
like Kira the Brave, which is
Yeah.
about a redheaded girl in Scotland. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah,
those
yeah,
fakey, like
Yeah.
deep fake movies, but they're real.
Those Walmart trick movies.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Oh man.
The Rung.
Well, this movie is all sorts of terrible.
It's real bad. It ended up being a direct to sci-fi movie. It's a sci-fi original movie.
Was that before or after they got rid of the eyes?
That was before, I believe.
2007.
Yeah, before.
Okay.
I don't
Right
know.
around.
C.
Right around.
I'm not sure. It might have been gone already. I can't remember.
I don't recall. I remember the Comic-Con that I went to when that happened, and I was going to Comic-Con at this point, so it could have been right around that time.
Were you really excited for the announcement? Like, oh my god, branding!
Oh no, I was like, fucking, that's so dumb. Sci-fi, fuck you. Then they gave me a free bag, and I was like, all right.
I like every time I start one of these movies, like the first thing I do is press the button on my PlayStation that shows me how long the film is.
Right.
And this one, it was like an hour and 26 minutes. And at first I was like, oh, cool, it's short. And then I was like, it's short. Maybe that's an ominous sign.
So
I feel like it was longer than that.
It was under an hour and a half.
it starts out with a female voiceover.
The DVD I had, at least.
that
Ooh, I
we
feel like I
don't
had a
know
longer
who
cut.
she is. You watch it on DVD? Where did you watch it, Tyler?
I rented it on the Apple Television.
I watched it on the Roku TV app,
Oh.
which is free.
Sponsored by.
Even if you don't have a Roku, you can download the app and watch certain movies for free. And it said there was going to be a commercial break, like there was tons of little commercial break dots on the line, but there was really only like 3.
Mike Bloomberg bought all those spots, but then he had to drop them out.
Yeah. And so I don't know if it was just the horrible format that I was watching this in on a, sketchy app then Chromecasted to my TV. But like, did this movie look like mud and the whole thing had been put through like several Instagram filters?
So depending on what part of the movie, it was a different Instagram filter. There was a point where
Sure.
they made it to the Blue Island.
Okay, but lots of filters and all muddy, blurry.
It was
Mushy.
all of it was CG backgrounds. Like 90% of this movie was shot on a green screen.
Yeah.
And so there's just CG backgrounds. Like there's I would say the first 20 minutes of this movie is other people talking, and then it cuts to Adrian Paul sitting on a 2x4 on a green screen where they put like a red sky behind him wearing a Blade Runner coat, just brooding.
He looked like he was acting like Batman.
Batlander.
But
Batlander. He was the
dressed like-
Batlander.
Yeah, he was dressed like Bane.
Okay, and so, like, you know how sometimes if a video is, like, buffering over the internet,
Sure.
and then it catches up and it goes, like, it goes, like, really fast to keep going? So I thought that was happening several
yes.
times, and then I was like, wait, no, the movie is, I think, like this on purpose.
Yes.
A lot.
All the
Yeah.
fast forwarded bad guy motion.
So yes, the Guardian, which we'll get to, is he's the main villain of this. He's our Katana.
He's a copy of, like, he's wearing, like, a rubber Kurgan mask, and that's, like, basically
Well,
it.
firstly, when we first see him, he looks like Pyramid Head from the Silent Hill movie.
He actually has like a really cool. He's got like a metal turtleneck.
Yeah.
that
And
goes
he never
all up
wears it
over
again.
his eyes.
But so his deal is that he allegedly has super speed. which they show by him speed ramping and going super fast. But then whenever he's attacking somebody, he's painfully slow. So it's like he's like la, 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 like and moves like Samara from The Ring. And then once he's like, now I'm in front of you and now I'm gonna swing my sword.
It's like they didn't tell him which parts they were gonna speed up, so he just did everything super slow, and they randomly added the speeding on the stuff that looked crappy.
He moves like the guy in Moulin Rouge when he's like doing the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a virgin.
Yeah, like a virgin. He moves like that. And I can't remember the character's name right off the top of my head.
So there's a whole bunch of nonsense happening. This is, again, we're back into the Highlander 2, the Quickening scenario, where we're now in a weird, vague dystopia.
In Eastern Europe.
Where the good news is that UFC is still going strong because there's a guard at some building that we're supposed to give a shit about watching like an organized like UFC match, which is just like people are eating each other, everyone's dying, and it's like, but I'm glad the octagon's still going strong.
And so this voiceover of this woman, we don't know, and it like introduces the fact, these things that we've said about the immortals, and then in my town there are 2 immortals. This one dude who believes in the source, and Duncan who doesn't believe in it. And so they build it up like this dude's gonna be important, and he like gets killed right away.
Yeah, I had a feeling he was
stupidly.
They were showing him too much. I was like, this guy's not.
And then she ends the speech with being like, and Duncan is also the only man I've ever loved. And I immediately, I'm like, oh, sucks for you, because you're not the only woman he's even loved, if he even loves you.
I know. Right. I was like, they had to make her say that line because it would not make any sense coming out of Duncan's mouth.
Yeah. So as this is all being set up, we cut around to a bunch of guys wearing red sunglasses.
Mythos.
Methos.
I think it's Mythos.
Giovanni. And Reggie.
Reggie.
Your classic cast of characters?
These are the guys that I was like, they're all standing in the same room. But they just decided to have different, elementary school photo backgrounds behind them.
I feel like that, mercifully, we didn't watch enough of the show to realize how much of a bastardization of Mythos' character this is. Because it seems incongruous with everything that I've seen.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense, like, how he's still alive and he's, like, the oldest, but, like, what?
Yeah, no, his character doesn't make any sense.
And also, the Watcher guy is still alive, too.
Yeah.
Right, but this is the future. Like, things have gone so bad that, like, it's a Mad Max future, but all the guys from the TV show are, like, a couple years older.
He's still rocking that cane.
Yeah.
He hasn't graduated to a wheelchair.
Right. Doesn't make much sense. But so what Reggie has discovered, and is Reggie somebody you're supposed to know?
No, he's like a low rent Richie.
Right. Yeah.
Like extremely low rent.
Richie Reggie. He has discovered that all of the planets are leaving their orbits.
And you can see them just by looking up.
Yeah, just by looking up.
With the naked eye.
It looks so bad.
That they're all aligning. And Mythos is concerned that, are you sure it's not just a little bit of orbital wobble? And then everybody says orbital wobble.
I already took into account orbital wobble, and it doesn't make sense for it to be orbital wobble.
Fucking fun to say. Orbital wobble.
Orbital wobble.
Orbital wobble. Wobble wobble.
Yeah, the shots the shots of the celestial bodies that they show all the time, it makes it look like someone took one of those like wolf shirts with the moon and like put it up on the screen. It's like this really terrible like
in front of an oscillating fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you could take a shot for every shot that there's a bad CG comp in this movie, and you would be fucking drunk.
Yeah, it's bad. This movie, I was like, this is an unfinished film.
Yeah, yes.
I did like. This was like one of the few things that I liked in the beginning of the movie is when the Guardian is going to kill this freedom fighter guy. He says, there can only be me. And I was like, that's kind of a cool, like...
No, he does get the best... Yeah, he did.
Yeah, like that was a cool line. Like, because you expect he's going to say there can be only one, but he says, there can only be me. You know, like, so that's pretty badass. But also, all the quickenings were super lame in this movie. Like, there were barely any of them, and they were all lame.
Oh, yeah. Well, as soon as he says that, he says, there can only be me. And then it cuts to a guy who had no idea what the visual effect was going to look like, just walking around being like, bah.
Yeah, they're basically in like some Eastern European like Space Needle type thing.
Yeah.
That completely just collapses on itself.
Yeah, and then we were talking about, he had this like what I thought at the time at my naive self at the start of this movie, I was like, oh man, like he's got that like metal thing around his neck. That's like such a cool piece of like Highlander armor to be wearing. Like we've never seen anyone using this. And it looked like it got broken during the quickening or whatever, but I don't really know exactly what happened, but it's gone the rest of the movie.
Oh, also the way that we're
So
introduced
you can see more of his dumb makeup.
Yeah, to Duncan being on screen is that he saves a woman from being raped only because he thinks that she looks like his wife. And then afterward, when he realizes that he just like saved a random woman from being raped, he's like, oh, whatever. And he just like leaves. Like, he's like, oh, sorry, I thought you were someone else. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Guardian.
So the freedom fighter who gets killed here, he had a map to where the thing was, but then he lost the map.
It's burned up or whatever.
Yeah, the map got fucked up. So that now, and that he was chasing a monk. But the good news is that even in the far apocalyptic future, that monks still wear the brown robes that you would get at any Halloween store in Romania.
Yeah, and you can just drive your 4-wheel Jeep all the way straight up to the very front door of the giant fortress that they live in.
Right.
And Joe arrives on the scene to get Duncan and immediately interferes once again and takes out a shotgun and like shoots the Guardian guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, there he goes, interfering, even though the one thing we know about him is that he's not supposed to interfere.
There's this amazing
Although we don't know that because it wasn't on the PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's true.
Joe actually has the best introduction
he does
in the entire movie because he comes driving up in his car. Like, okay, so Duncan and the Guardian are like fighting each other, right? They're like, the Guardian has all sorts of terrible lines where he's just like, it looks like they're cutting together different takes of him. Where like maybe he said something funnier this time, but it's just so dumb the way he's talking.
Yeah.
And one of the things that happens is, so Joe shows up, hits him with a car, and while the Guardian's flying through the air, he's like, "Hello, Joe!" Which is so fucking weird. Like, he knows who he is, I guess, and also why is he being so campy? Like, hello, as he as he flies, like with his arms outstretched, like wee through the air. Like,
as you could hear, there was rock music underneath that.
Oh yeah,
as there is for the entirety of this movie.
Yeah. Oh man, I thought that was like a spit your drink out moment for me.
And then hello, Joe. And then Adrian Paul's like, Joe, you shouldn't be doing this. And then Joe just shoots Adrian Paul.
Yeah, he's like, shut up. This is the only way I can get shit done.
And he's trying to get him out there as fast as possible, so he shoots him, so he has to go over and drag him over.
Yeah, even though he needs a cane that was immediately knocked onto the floor.
Yeah.
And it's also like it's not explained why Duncan's like again upset with him.
I know. It's like he's done this every time.
So they all gather outside of
he didn't
this,
say
like,
Merry Christmas.
shoot Duncan and be like, Merry Christmas.
You filthy animal. But yeah, all of our characters gather in front of this freaking temple, and like only Mythos or Methos, whatever the hell his name is, knows who Duncan is, and like the other guys are like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Duncan MacLeod," and then one of them says, "Of the clan MacLeod." It's like, yeah, where the f else do you think? Like, and also, since when did the clan become more famous than either Duncan or Connor? It'd be like, "Hi, I'm Tyler Hymanson of the family Hymanson." Oh shit! You know, like, who says that? Like,
no one.
Yeah, it's weird. I love this scene is so weird too, because like they're all arguing about like who's gonna go inside and maybe I will go first and we can't just go in the front door and and then like out of nowhere there's like in the background someone else climbing up the wall and I'm like, what's happening? Because no one's saying anything and they're all like, this person is all the way through the window and they're like, who's that? And they turn around and Duncan's like, that's my wife.
Oh, and I think
he got married again. Like what the fuck?
He did. I think when he was in the car with. Is Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. we had like a fever dream flashback saying that like how they fell in love and got together, and then how she left him because the one thing she wanted more than anything was a child.
A baby.
And apparently it's got to be a child of his sperm that comes out of her, because no other child is worth taking care of, or especially give you the feeling of having, the love of a child in your life. Like,
especially after this giant apocalypse where I'm sure there's no orphans.
Oh yeah, totally. But
People
I mean,
there's
like
cannibals and sure.
because they make it seem like, okay, this is like the love of my life and that, and everything. And then she's like, oh, well, like you can't give me a baby, even though I knew that from the onset.
Right.
I have now made the decision to leave you forever for this.
Right.
Like, if she really wanted to give birth that badly, go to the damn sperm bank and like, it's 2007, lady.
They could have figured it out.
Yeah.
Mythos probably's got some plan to, he probably knows about
Or
that
just
stuff.
adopt a child.
I don't know if
ridiculous.
Duncan keeps up with science.
I'm like so offended by it. And I love that Connor never went there. Connor was like, this kid needs help. I adopted them. They're my kid. You know, like, great. Good for you, Connor. I'm sorry about everything bad I said about you in the past movie, because now I'm annoyed by this chick whose name I didn't even write down. What's her name? Anna?
I think it's Anna, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Source.
Anna Elsa.
Her name is The Source.
Yeah.
So they go into the monastery to talk to Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, I was going to say my favorite...
More like Pizza the Hut.
My favorite
Accurate.
lore reveal in this film is that
Laura Dern's in this movie.
No. We finally get to see what happens if an immortal decides to just sit in a chair for the entire time and eat food.
Oh, he's in a permanent state of decay.
A permanent state of decay.
Why is he so huge? No, I just thought that was funny. I'm just going to sit here and not do anything.
Well,
That's an interesting idea. I wonder if there were any episodes like about a Jabba the Hutt, like,
right.
dude.
Someone who just did
like when Bender
all.
becomes human. So we did talk about the runtime of this movie. Before we even get to this thing, we're entreated to like 2 or 3 minutes of the monks being like, we don't have a leader. We don't have a person. And it's the most pointless. Like, it's like, so we talked about like these 3 characters you don't give a shit about at all, there were the 3 guys wearing the red glasses that we saw before. Giovanni, who is like a stand-in for the Catholic Church, I guess.
I can't even with this guy. And like the mixed religious metaphors throughout this entire film are all over the damn place.
To be fair, he might have escaped from a Matrix sequel. It's possible.
Yeah.
He's like slick black blonde.
He's
hair.
like Paul Bettany in the Da Vinci Code
Oh yeah,
type
yeah,
thing.
totally
Yeah,
like
but
that,
even
yeah.
more hammy.
Yeah. You know what? Let's just... How would Professor Langdon fit into this movie? What would he do?
I don't know. He would be like, "Oh, this monk's the part of the robe of this monk has some writing on it." From
We got to find this source.
the 17th century.
We got to get to Gahul.
I think the source is on a random island that anyone could have just found at any time.
So they're in there talking to this gross guy, and he reveals that the original source of being immortal was like 2 dudes that were not immortal going to become immortal, and because they went there, they got punished.
No, they were immortal.
It was like a group of immortals.
It was an ancient group of immortals that was or was not the same immortals from Highlander 2.
Definitely not.
Well, yeah, it was confusing. They made it look like they were on a different planet or something, but it was just the past.
But it was in the far past.
The very dark red past.
Yeah. And so then they went... The girl that they were with sacrificed herself.
Now, this is confusing.
It is confusing.
Because it looks like the same exact thing that happens at the end of the movie is happening in this flashback.
Yeah, there's 2 dudes. One is a constant state of decay, and the other one is cursed to be the guardian of the source.
So
But they don't explain what happened to the girl.
I think what happens is that she dies. Okay? And I think that what the movie's trying to tell us is
the source was not complete.
is that she is reincarnated into this mortal woman that left Duncan because he didn't have good sperm.
I think they were trying to tell us that, but did they?
Right, no, I don't think that they did. And then the reason that it's different this time, spoiler alert, Duncan does not take the head of the Guardian.
Yeah.
He figures out the riddle that can't be solved.
And then the Guardian just blows up anyway. Because there's just like it's just like a video game cutscene where if you don't do anything, it's the best outcome.
You can always choose to say
It's
nothing.
like, press X, press X. Do you want to press X? Do you want to? No, 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 no. Oh, you won.
So while they're hearing this story from like the nasty Jabba guy, Reggie goes back outside and is in like a spooky graveyard, and the Guardian is like haunting him, jumping around. Yeah, and he decides to taunt him by singing the fucking
Yes!
Queen song,
Yeah.
which.
He goes like, "Do you want to live forever?" I was like, what?
And at first I was like, oh, that's funny to make fun of that song. And then I was like, you know what? You have no right.
This what are you breaking the fourth wall for all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Then little did we know that was like not the worst thing that to happen in this movie.
Well, and again, I can see why they didn't put the holy ground thing on the PowerPoint presentation that starts this movie, because as we found, it means fuck all.
Yeah.
Like if an immortal wants to do it, I guess they can.
I mean, in that graveyard scene, they're like, "You can't. This is holy ground," and then he goes like, "Yeah, it's a graveyard."
And
one
he goes,
cares."
"I don't care."
Oh, but then he doesn't kill any of the immortals. He kills poor old Joe.
He does kill Joe.
And there is a... I mean,
extended death sequence.
at the very least, I guess Adrian Paul did a good job with this scene specifically.
I bet he immediately gets mad at
But I
Mythos
feel
for
like
some reason.
Joe was like not great because he was like, "You're my best friend."
I know. I wrote. LOL.
I thought he was gonna say like, "You are the one," or "You are going to be the one," or "May it be you," like the way he said in the credits of the TV show. But instead, he just goes, "You're my best friend."
I know. I was like, when he said that, I was like, "Oh my god, that's so sad for him, for Joe." Like, oh, he's his. I don't think they're friends.
It reminded me of the Venture
mean-
Brothers bit where Brock Sampson like stabs the guild shadow, and he's like, "Oh, I'll take the knife out, you'll be fine." He's like, "No, you totally got the kidney." He's like, "Could you sing me a Technotronic song? don't leave me."
Yeah, I thought that was really. I mean, we didn't watch the whole series, so maybe this was like a really emotional scene for fans of the show. But I was just kind of like, they don't seem very friendly.
From what I read is that the more that you knew about the lore and the show and everything else, the more disappointing this movie was.
Oh, okay.
That
Well,
makes
I
sense.
just think that like I understood from their performances that Duncan really cared about him and was upset, but it did not need to be spoken. Like, "You are my best friend." Like, he should have just been like, "It's been an honor," or something, like.
He dies for like 3 minutes.
You have to realize that as we're watching this movie, right? Like, we're the people that are the most up on all of this lore,
except for the TV show.
Well, no, what I mean is that even the TV show, people had watched it, kind of forgot it or whatever. Like we watched all of this and then watched this now. Like it's fresh in our memory.
Yeah,
Unlike
yeah.
anybody probably who
Nobody
watched
does this,
Nobody did this to watch this movie. And so it's disappointing for us. Then it's disappointing for fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Like there's no more context to this.
Yeah, that's true.
And so then after that, we get like a bunch of music videos that are just like, them training or getting ready. And it's just kind of like a long montage.
No,
of, like,
I
driving
feel like they
and,
get on the boat first.
Oh, yeah, the boat. And then
We're
they
gonna
have...
need
They
a
get
boat.
on the boat and then they get to the island that anyone just could have gone to.
Oh, you're right. And then they kill some
That's like
dudes.
a trash island.
It's a trash island, and the harbor master.
It looks like they landed a barge.
Yeah, the guy who's driving their boat is dressed like a full admiral for some reason.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
zoom in on him like he's an important
He's
character.
dressed like Thurston Howell, and then they're like, "Oh no, like we can't dock there. There's cannibals." And then there's just a guy like hanging from like a crane, and it's like, well, I guess they're not that hungry because like
Look at all that meat.
Look at all that meat. They just left that guy up there, and then they dock, and the cannibals don't seem to mind. They're busy burning a businessman in a bunch of tires,
like a cartoon or something.
like a cartoon. But
That was pretty funny.
they're not gonna be able to eat this man if he's surrounded by all those tires.
Oh, you don't know. You don't know what they like, what flavoring. Maybe they like the rubberized. They're going to eat the rubberized meat. I don't know.
So then they're like, we're not going to let them do that to that guy. And they're like, no, we're not. And then they fight them, and they kind of get their asses kicked.
Yeah, but the whole time...
These legendary immortals by these cannibals that don't even know how to cook a dude.
Yeah. It's like it's another like quintessential kind of early in the film Highlander fight scene where there's like serious fighting going on mixed with like slapstick, like whoa, look out for the fire. The guy in the tire, they keep cutting back to the guy in the tire like, whoa, that match is getting close to the gas.
And then at some point a truck crashes and there's a big explosion, and then smash cut to a terrible cover of the Queen
Princess
of the Universe.
As they slow motion walk, like, yeah, we did it.
Including the girl that didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything. And it's just crossfades over the explosion. They're all walking, and they did it.
It comes so out of nowhere.
It comes out
like,
of
what?
nowhere.
There's a long montage of just this, like, hero shots and the walking and them driving, I think.
This is the... And I...
Heroic driving.
I called my girlfriend into the room at this point, and I rewound it, and I said, this is my girlfriend who could sing the Queen song by heart, loved the thing. And I was like, do you want to see where this series dies? Because it's right here.
Yeah.
It's god-awful. And yet... the movie continues from here.
Yeah, they go to a farm.
It would have been fine if it just ended there.
Yeah.
And,
true.
of course, Duncan has to have sex with what's-her-face.
Oh, yeah.
But not before, like, delivering a speech about how he doesn't want her to get killed because of all the other women that he's lost. And he even goes like, Tessa and Kate. And I'm like, did Kate die?
Yeah,
like,
apparently.
I
Tessa,
don't even...
Jessica.
Yeah, because there's that
Like,
weird...
Stephanie.
Did Kate die off screen?
Stephnica.
Like the lady from the first movie? Like,
Stephanie.
For Stephanie.
she got her head chopped off in a horrible car accident immediately after the events of the other movie.
Duncan's wife who got killed by the sun.
The sun severed her immortal head off.
And then Reggie's outside singing again, I believe.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like keeping guard.
Oh no! This the whole farm sequence starts with his wife talking to Reggie about like, and Reggie's like, "Oh, like I like it to be underestimated." Basically,
Oh yeah, I act dumb on purpose, which is like every middle school girl's go-to playbook.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. This is where they like.
Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say this is where we didn't talk about it, but like they're going to find the source.
Important rule.
Yeah,
that was
we
not in
learned
the PowerPoint.
We learned that as you get closer to the source, you start to lose your immortality.
Right. So Reggie
this
gets
will become important.
cut up a lot.
Yeah, he basically just gets like a bunch of paper cuts
Yeah.
and
But-
dies.
and then we learn this we learn this plot
I've
point
never been cut before
as
in my
they
life.
drag his body along with them for like a day, and they're like, well, I guess he's not coming back.
They're like waiting. Well, barely.
Like they drag his corpse into a van and they ride with it, and they're like, oh, like do immortals usually smell this bad? Like, no, that's just our Reggie.
Yep.
Oh no, he's dead.
Reggie dead.
Then they get kidnapped by the cannibals again. Mm-hmm. Because like
The cannibals come back on motorcycles.
and they're like, oh, it's the heroes. And again, they're just normal dude. They're like, there's nothing special about them. Oh, it's a quick cut. I guess they all have like sleepy time dart crossbows.
yeah.
That they knock them all out with. I feel like that's what happens. And so now we have no Jesse. We got Giovanni Mathos and Giovanni Mathos
And a Duncan.
and a Duncan.
We paused the movie long enough to learn that Jesus was real, you guys. Mythos was friends with Jesus.
Right. So it's unclear. Like the movie sets it up like Mythos and Giovanni have been like monitoring the stars and like have the secret society together or whatever it is. Turns out
Source hunters.
at this point in the movie, we learned that they hated each other the entire time.
well, and the guy's like a religious zealot, but like
Right.
for Christianity, which is so small in the scope of this series.
Right.
Like, why would you be so into that when Jesus, is someone that this guy knew and knew that he was like a dude, you know? Like, it just...
Methos yells at him. He's like, I knew Jesus, and he actually helped people. Like, unlike you, you fucking prick.
Exactly.
Which is pretty good sick burn. But, you know, this guy is just like all this stuff for a Christian God, and I'm just like, you're immortal, but...
Oh, we also we glazed over a joke where they made a joke about Mythos wearing a leather jacket.
Because he changed his look.
Because he changed his look.
That's not a joke.
He had a fringy jacket.
Like, I love a good he is risen joke. Like, anytime, you know,
Sure.
he is risen of Skywalker, we have risen with the resistance, you know, all these jokes. But, like, this movie was just so confused over, are we actually, like, worshiping Jesus Christ, or are we saying that Duncan is a Christ-like figure, or that God is the source, or is it a female goddess that we're worshiping? Like, what is it?
I'm pretty sure
Pick
Giovanni
one.
worshipped the architect.
There was a certain point in this movie where I was like, I think a bunch of hippies got a hold of this script and turned it into like
Because there were some things that were so over the top that I was like, was this one of those things that was financed by some religious group? You know, like, is
Right.
Adrian Paul like a hardcore Christian guy and put a bunch of weird shit in there? But then it goes totally sacrilegious, and then somehow goes back to being like uber Christian, and I'm just like, what is happening?
Turns out the source of immortality is fresh granola with naturally sourced honey.
Sure.
Like, why does her hair turn into like braided beads?
Oh yeah, every time they flash back at her, she's got a different hairstyle.
Because she
I was
speaks the true
Is
truth.
this the same actress? What is this? Yeah, it was very weird.
So yeah, I don't know. They all escape, and
Giovanni gets out, and then he's like, God has chosen me.
Oh, yeah.
And then doesn't
He's the dumbest one.
yeah, it's like, they've been on the same, like, this betrayal makes no sense. So he just kind of runs away, and he's like, I'll get to the source. And then he gets
Because still there can be only one.
yeah, then he gets killed by the Guardian, like, immediately.
Yeah, because he's dumb.
Yeah.
He can see him. He's right there.
Yeah.
Why is
but
he like,
Duncan
"You've
had a
chosen
chance
me"?
to kill him too, and he wouldn't.
He wouldn't kill him.
And then Mythos is like, okay, well, because you did that, that means you should really be the one. I suck. I'm going to sacrifice myself to go kill these cannibals.
You're the
you
best of
keep
us.
going to the source. Which
Right.
I guess is an okay ending for that guy.
He does ride a horsey.
Yeah, he rides off. Bye.
But, like, again, those cannibals should not be able to kill them. They should have just been able to go in there like fucking Sean Connery and Lambert in the car reading the dam.
They're immortals.
Get all shot up or fucking, like, they didn't even have guns or weapons.
Yeah, we
Like,
don't even know. Like, maybe Mythos lives. Maybe he does. Like, because in the end,
should.
turns out there couldn't be only one, which we'll get to. But like, Mythos very well could have
not even about
just
that.
distracted them for however long,
could have been
and
fine.
then he comes
But no,
back.
like, they could have fucking destroyed them.
Yeah.
There were 5 immortals, just like, and we all have swords. Like,
So yeah, Duncan gets to the final, like, it's basically like the place from Neverending Story where those statues are. Yeah, and it's just like sand, and it's an Instagram filter, and it's like all neon and blacklight.
it's an
and
Instagram
blue.
filter,
Yeah.
tilt shifted with Elisa Frank.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's
and she's like
so
standing
weird.
on a staircase, like towards the light, and then the Guardian's there, and Duncan sees her, and he's like doesn't even give a shit about the Guardian. He's like, I'm gonna go to her. He walks up to her, and she's like, it's not time. Face the Guardian.
She puts up a force field. She's just like,
yeah, you know, the force field was in the flashback as well, but
sure. So yeah, so
But
I don't think
and then the Guardian-
Obi-Wan has to watch Darth Maul kill
Yeah,
Qui-Gon.
the Guardian is standing behind him, and he's like, yeah, face the Guardian.
yeah. He's like, attaboy.
I'm Evil Ash.
Yes, thank you. I wrote that down. That was great. A great line.
You immortal fuck. So they have what has got to be the worst fight scene we've seen.
It was so pathetic.
like, apparently, Duncan is also getting the super fast powers.
Duncan's sword was broken, so now he has Raphael knives.
Little daggers,
yeah. Dainty little daggers that he fights with.
And apparently,
He does the duende.
I don't really understand what's going on, but he spins around the Guardian so fast.
He
that
like Tasmanian devils him. His pants fall off, and he's wearing boxers with hearts on it.
Yeah.
Tasmania.
He, like,
Tasmania.
The Guardian screws himself further down into the ground. It was like looked so dumb. I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
Right, and then he gets stuck in the ground.
Yeah.
And he's like, take my head.
Do it, you immortal fuck. Just like
Do
they
it,
said.
do it. He brings it back Emperor Palpatine energy.
Yeah, and then Duncan's just like, I'm over it.
He has 2 flashbacks saying, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't." And
Yeah.
then,
And then, as mentioned,
yeah, he's he's like,
I'm done with this.
yeah,
which is also how I felt at the end.
I'm done with this.
and then the Guardian just kind of blows up, and then
This is the point in the movie where I was like, something happens, and I was like, hold up, did the film just start over?
yes, no, yeah. This is like as he's having the flashbacks, the movie spends 5 minutes.
It's after he kills. It's after the Guardian dies.
Oh, it is after this.
yeah, because I have it listed like.
Oh my god.
I have listed in my notes, I am gone forever, he screams. And then right after it says, what the fuck? Did the movie just start over?
Yeah, so he says, I am gone forever, and then the movie literally recaps itself after
To great length.
legitimately an hour of movie.
This is why I was like, I don't think they had a full movie here. And
They did not.
They need to pad out that timing a little.
That's why there's a music video in between and a full recap.
Full on recap. And then the movie ends in the most fucking baffling way I could
It was
ever
like
imagine.
actually infuriating. Like I don't even feel that much ownership I don't really feel like a fan of this franchise, but this bastardization of the essential myth of the franchise is complete crap.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like we come out of the full-on 2.5 minute recap of the film, and Duncan and Anna are standing next to each other, and I think, like, they're kissing or something, and then she just goes, I feel life. I feel our child. And then they kiss,
Yep.
and then it fades to a clip from 2001 Space.
It fades to a 3D ultrasound.
Yeah. Space baby.
And they reveal that, like, well, I guess there can only be one meant there can only be one child.
His
And
metachlorians are off
Duncan-
the charts.
Duncan was the only immortal to ever have a child. The end. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding
Yeah,
me?
it makes no sense with the rest of the
Here's the
films.
thing. Is it his child? Or is it
It's-
immaculately conceived from the source?
It's completely unclear.
It better be his child or she's going to throw it in the dumpster. Okay? Like, this freaking...
They didn't have enough time to
DNA-obsessed
fuck
bitch.
underneath those planets there.
Right.
At least that we saw.
I mean, when they had sex on the farm, because he was already losing his immortality, he got her pregnant
yeah.
then.
Well, but then Immortals could have gone to fucking that island for time immemorial.
I know.
it was
It's-
literally just like, on the other side of that forest is the
like
place.
the fact that is like shown as this ultimate reward, and like
This is the final prize.
there can be only one is the number one thing most people know about Highlander,
Yeah.
and you completely bastardize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very upsetting, and this bitch. Actually, no. I'm glad she didn't adopt because she doesn't deserve to have a child.
Also,
So-
it feels like all the other immortals in this movie are at the same ish power level as Duncan,
yeah.
and it's like, no,
They seem to not really have. They kind of did away with that. How many people have you killed?
Yeah.
But it was PowerPoint 2. It was the second point on the PowerPoint.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
They did start with that.
But the rest of the movie has nothing.
No.
none of it. And I hate that. Yeah, I really don't like that. It was not at all about the normal game that we've come to know through
he
all
would
these
technically have the power of illusion.
Like, I don't have any problem with there can be only one not quite meaning what they always thought it to
Right.
mean, and it turns out it's something deeper or something better or something,
Right.
more more whole, worldview. But this is like stupid. It's like you might as well have been like, oh, it turns out it meant there can only be one soft pretzel at Annie Ann's that you're allowed to buy today. You know?
There can be only one recipe for cheese dip.
You guys didn't read the rest of the scripture? Yeah, sorry.
Oh man,
It is very strange. Yeah. Oh man.
it's like it's genuinely. I mean, I the fans must have been just like the ones who bothered to watch this
Yeah.
must be
Again, you guys, we're the fans. How we feel is closer to anybody that watched this because it's all fresh, and and there's things that we legitimately like about this series.
Yeah.
And this is the bastardization of those things. Like we've always said that these movies maybe aren't great, but the general idea of them is the thing that makes them popular and has extended out to all these different movies and all these different sequels. And this movie pisses on that.
It does.
Yeah, the thing that makes me feel extra bad too is like I remember last week, we were like, we were saying, oh, it's called Highlander the Source. Maybe we'll get to find out like where they come from or something, and like that exploring like the origins of the immortals or whatever would be interesting, but this is so nebulous and like
It still doesn't do it.
yeah, it doesn't
No.
ever it's not about that at all. It's about I don't know what the fucking
It's like
source is.
Highlander.
It's not about anything.
It
A
doesn't
few
explain
people
anything.
that are adjacent to the source.
Yeah.
Like
What is the source? Why do they have to planets have to align? What's in space? Is it a beam of light coming from space? I have fucking no idea.
Yeah. It's space, baby.
It's not explained. Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you want to just do the
Yeah.
ye old
The
rating
ye
system?
old rating system. Let's see. How many tire-ringed businessmen would you cook up for Highlander the Source?
It gives me great joy to give this one only one tire-ringed businessman cooking up today because, this is god
This
awful.
movie's dog shit.
This is god awful. It was
I mean,
so
I
bad.
will collect more than one tire ringed businessman for my own, enjoyment.
Yeah.
But I will only give one to this film.
Yes.
Yeah, and the rest I'll burn at the Springfield tire fire. Or whatever.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It really it does. It pisses on the idea of what these movies meant, and it's just poorly made. Like I said, it looks like mud. It looks like Instagram filters and fast forwarding a VCR.
Yeah, it really looks like this one needed more time to cook, and it's just like it feels like an unfinished. We talked about we had the like debacle that apparently that was the Highlander 2: The Quickening, but this
More fun to watch.
Yeah, that movie looks like a fucking masterpiece compared to this garbage.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, and we talked about the music a little, but half the songs are made by the director. One of them is
Yeah.
sung by Jim Burns, right?
Yeah.
The guy who plays Joe.
Yes.
And like,
And there's one great thing about this film is that it has an amazing end credits song that's like my favorite type of joke film song. that is clearly written for the movie, and it's called like "Take Me Back to the Source" or something like that. And it's just so over the top and terrible that I was like, yes, this is what I needed right now after that.
and you know what's interesting is how like you form an LLC to make your film or whatever, and it
Sure.
usually has some like obscure name so people won't know or whatever. Like at the end of the credits, I noticed that this one was like Katana Film
yeah.
LLC, and so I was like, I wonder if they like had hoped that they could get Michael Ironside, or they were gonna like go back to that part of the
Mikey
mix
Irons.
somehow, and then just were like, oh fuck it.
Yeah, that was nice.
For me, the businessman weaseled away, and there's just a
tires.
big old zero
A tall
of,
zero.
of a tire. It's an aerial shot of a stack of tires.
Oh man.
Because this is not a movie. This is you could literally have made a better movie with digital copies of the previous films and television show and iMovie circa 2007 and just cut something together.
Yeah, I mean,
They would have done like it would have been better for the characters, which I didn't get a chance for Mythos or Joe to really come to enjoy them, but I can see from those actors that they were likable characters.
Yeah.
And they get fucked in this movie. And as does Duncan, as does Connor, as does everything else that came before, and everything else that came before was already stupid.
And the movie was the movie was so bad they'd stopped making them.
Yep.
So that goes to show. I mean, it was originally supposed to be apparently a trilogy.
A trilogy, Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm assuming going to follow the baby in the next one. But this movie is universally hated, I'm pretty sure. And I'm not surprised that we have yet to see another Highlander film after this.
Except
for one more. But actually, that one was released the same year as well. So,
Okay.
So, we haven't seen any after this, basically. But yeah, I think that's going to bring us to the end of Highlander the Source.
which one of us gets a free baby?
Free baby. Stand on this pedestal.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I braided my hair for fucking nothing.
I know we were debating a little bit about whether or not we wanted to do the anime one, but we've been having fun with this franchise.
Yeah.
And we thought, why not? This one was so bad. Let's see what happens with the next one. So next week, we're going to be talking about Highlander, The Search for Vengeance.
The Source of Vengeance.
The Source of Vengeance. Which is an anime film from the same year. Pretty excited to see what that's about. But
it can't be worse.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Eliz, where can people reach out to us?
Yeah, email us at sequelrights@gmail.com and reach out to us on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sequel Rights.
And rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Leave us 5 stars. I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments what you think the source of immortality is in the Highlander movies. I think that all of our listeners probably have a better idea than what this movie puts forward.
We only will accept explanations in the form of PowerPoint presentations.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So please send them our way. Make sure it's a PPTX or whatever it is now.
Or a Google Slides for those of you that don't want to pay
Slides.
Microsoft.
That's
Yeah.
fair. We'll take it.
Be sure to use Papyrus.
All right, we'll see you guys next week as we join another McLeod in the search for vengeance.
Take me back to the source. Take me back to the prime. Let me bathe in the waters of life. All these days I have wandered a captive in time. Now the sun is gonna shine. So long since our last goodbye, I watch as you die. I feel my lone battle cry growing.
Across the cold endless space,
Still see the face.
that calls me back to the place I